Shalom, warriors, and welcome to the Daily Warfare Drop with Raphael Rabbi. Today's theme is when unbelief hardens the heart. And scriptures are coming to you from Numbers chapter 14 through to 16 and Psalm 95. Today's reading brings us into one of the most serious battlefields in scripture, the war of unbelief. Numbers 14 through to 16 shows us what happens when fear is allowed to rule the heart. And Psalm 95 gives us God's warning to future generations, including ours. In Numbers 14, Israel stands at the edge of promise and turns back. They believe the report of fear instead of the promise of God. Warriors, this is devastating. The land was ready. God was faithful, but unbelief shut the door. This is warfare truth we must face. Unbelief can delay or deny entry into what God has already prepared. They complain, they accuse God, they even talk about returning to Egypt. Warriors, this still happens today. When life gets hard, pressure at work, tension at home, rising cost, constant bad news, it's easy to romanticize the past and forget the chains God already broke. Fear edits memory. As a former soldier in the British Army, I learned that hesitation at the wrong moment can cost lives. On the battlefield, indecision spreads quickly. Spiritually, unbelief does the same. It infects others and paralyzes movements. In Numbers chapter 15, God reaffirms his instructions. Even after rebellion, God speaks of future obedience. This is mercy. God does not abandon his people, but consequences remain. Forgiveness does not erase responsibility. Then, in Numbers 16, Korah rebels against God's appointed leadership. He challenges authority under the disguise of fairness. Warriors, this is another enemy tactic. Rebellion dressed as righteousness. I've seen this in military life, in workplaces, and even in ministry. When authority is rejected, disorder follows. As a husband, a father, and someone serving God publicly and privately, I have learned that submission is not weakness, it is protection. Even Jesus submitted, though he was without sin. Now, in Psalm 95, brings God's voice forward. Today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. Warriors, this is the heart of the message. Hardened hearts cannot fear God. Familiarity dulls reverence. Delay turns into disobedience. Here is today's warfare truth. Faith keeps the heart soft, but unbelief hardens it. And a hardened heart cannot enter rest. Read these chapters carefully. Let them warn you, not condemn you. God's desire is not to shut you out, but to lead you in. But entry requires trust. Warriors, do not harden your heart. Choose faith over fear. Trust God even when the giants look real, because obedience today determines whether you walk in promise tomorrow. My fellow warriors, we shall meet on the battlefield tomorrow. Shalom.